Welcome to the newsroom for today, Thursday, July 26, 2018, broadcasting to you on E1 and Scar TV in Georgetown and Tarzi TV in Bartica. In the headlines, the son of Minister Simona Brooms to be charged with assaulting his girlfriend. A fire destroys a $20 million home at Port Royal on the west bank of Demerara. The university's vice-chancellor describes Guyana as a corrupt society. And in sport, cricketers unveil huge women's World T20 promotional bat at Kitty Roundabout. The news. I'm Avinash Ramzan. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. We start off by telling you that Hector Brooms, the son of Minister within the Ministry of Natural Resources, Simona Brooms, will be charged with assault causing bodily harm following an incident with his girlfriend. The girlfriend, Joyette Rodriguez, will face 2 charges, namely assault and throwing missiles, police headquarters stated today. They will appear in court soon as the release stated. An online media outfit had reported that Minister Brooms threatened the commander with dismissal after her son assaulted his girlfriend. However, the commander, Senior Superintendent Kevin Adonis, vehemently denied this, police headquarters stated. A thorough investigation into the alleged incident was conducted, and the police said its legal advice is for Brooms and his girlfriend to be charged under the Summary Jurisdiction Offences Act, Chapter 802. In what is suspected to be an act of arson, a house valued $20 million was this morning completely destroyed at Port Royal on the west bank of Demerara, causing neighbors to also suffer major losses. Bibi Katoon reports.
The 2-story house located at Lot 124 Coglan Dam, Port Royal, West Bank, Demerara, went up in flames just after midnight on Wednesday. Also destroyed in the fire is a 212 motor car, which was parked under the house. While the police have since arrested 43-year-old Mahesh Parwat, who lived at the house, neighbors believe that it was the owner of the house, the man's reputed wife, who is responsible for the fire since she was there earlier and allegedly threatened him.
Yes, last night about 9:30 time, the lady Lalita and 3 other guys in come in the yard, and they had a scuffling upstairs. And I just overheard that she tell the guy that, listen, tomorrow you will not be back in this house here. So I was in the back. Then I see one of the guy then gone in his storeroom. So me don't really pay focus what you going in the storeroom. Now about 11 o'clock time, my wife wake up me and tell me, fire.
That was the neighbor Bikram Kandi, who said the woman had expressed her intention to burn the house several times and even threatened to burn his house as well. The neighbor said he also finds it strange that the man will set fire and then decide to take a shower.
He was upstairs, but why you understand? They're finding naked bathing in the bathroom. Which you always got a little liquor in the head or what's not. This is not first time they got a quarrel. They had more bigger issue on that before. And the guy never burned his house. And to be honestly, yesterday the guy weed in the yard, he got a horse run on the step here that they clean the house. Because he got the 3 little dogs upstairs. And he didn't really got no way for going. He always said that he used to here.
When newsroom arrived at the location, the owner of the house, whose name was given as Lalita, along with her son, who is a police officer, were at the scene, but they refused to comment on the matter. Chitra Leka, who resides with her husband next door, also suffered damages from the fire, and she described the character of Lalita.
Everything in our home actually damaged because of the water. It's not burned, but of the water. And this lady, like, she get contact all around because everywhere you turn, you can't get justice. This is way overbearing. Every time this woman come, it have a problem.
The fire started in one of the bedrooms of the house, and neighbors tried to quell the flames with buckets of water, but it was futile. The Guyana Fire Service responded, and they too were unable to save the house. Investigations are ongoing. Bibi Katoon, Newsroom.
Professor Ivlaw Griffith, the Vice-Chancellor and Principal of the University of Guyana on Wednesday evening, described Guyana as a corrupt society and said that many Guyanese don't respect the order of the day. Neil Marks reports.
At a lecture Wednesday evening dedicated to Nelson Mandela, Professor Ivlaw Griffith said that he has been trying to push a campaign on values, among them integrity and honesty. That brought him to the issue of corruption.
We don't have to pretend that we want to be politically correct in not talking about our corrupt society. And the corruption within our society, the dishonesty, the integrity, deficit within our society is not simply at a government level or a private sector level, it is across our society.
Further, the principal of the University of Guyana said Guyanese disrespect our own rules and disrespect ourselves.
Just look at how we pay little attention to respect for what is the order. You may not like the government of the day, but until that government of the day is changed, it is incumbent on all of us to respect the order of the day.
He continued, saying that Guyanese respect the rules abroad more than they do at home.
Many Guyanese, many of us, show demonstrable disrespect for our own rules and our own society, but the minute we get on a plane and go to the United States or Britain, we exercise due deference and respect the rules there. Why can't we begin letting the light shine on ourselves by embracing respect?
Professor Griffith said it is important that the University of Guyana begins a conscious effort talking about and practicing values. He said respect is one of those values that is important to Guyanese society, where there is pluralism, and that lack of respect for each other could lead to self-destruction. For the newsroom, Neil Marks reporting.
When the newsroom returns, the People's Progressive Party is not afraid of losing support in the hinterland $2 million for trafficking cocaine. Bibi Katoon reports.
23-year-old Kelvin Sawyers, known as John, appeared before Magistrate Peter Yu at the Vigilance Magistrates Court on Thursday, where he pleaded guilty to the offense. The young man did not have a lawyer. The court heard that on July 6 at Lot 8 Enterprise East Coast Demerara, Sawyer had 1.68 kilograms of cocaine for the purpose of trafficking. Prosecutor of the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit Kanu, Conyo Standiford, told the court that on the day in question, Kanu Ranks visited the man's Enterprise home and saw when he escaped by jumping through a window. Ranks searched the home and found 2 backpacks which contained 279 cocaine pellets. A wanted bulletin was issued for Sawyers, and he subsequently turned himself into police on July 24. The prosecutor informed the court that Sawyers' case is linked to Anissa Hardy, 19, who was busted at the Chedijagan International Airport after ingesting 119 pellets of cocaine on July 6. Hardy had excreted 702 grams of cocaine and was sentenced to 3 years in jail and fined $1.4 million. The teenager had told Kanu officers that Sawyers had given her the drugs. Bibi Katoon, Newsroom.
Confident that his party has overwhelming support in hinterland communities, People's Progressive Party Civic General Secretary Bayer Jagdeo is not faced at the formation of a political party by prominent indigenous leaders. Jagdeo said the PPP invested heavily in the development of Amerindian villages and the fostering of indigenous rights. He believes that the indigenous peoples will take that into consideration when they cast their vote. Davina Samro tells us more.
The political party announced by former Vice Chairman of the National Tushaus Council, Lennox Schumann, is preparing for an official launch in September, Amerindian Heritage Month. The party is expected to draw major support from Amerindian communities as Schumann intends to champion the rights of indigenous peoples. The PPP, which traditionally has a strong support base in those hinterland villages, is likely to lose critical votes if those persons throw their support behind the new Amerindian party. But PPP General Secretary Bayer Jagdeo is not worried. He told reporters at a recent press conference that one has to differentiate between the mass of the Amerindian people and a few individuals who simply want to form a political party.
There was an Amerindian party before. Remember with Gap? Gap said it was an Amerindian party in Region 9. And since then, the PPP's membership in the Amerindian communities, if you look at our Congress, you will see 1/3 of our delegates were from the hinterland. 1/3.
GAP, the Guyana Action Party, eventually teamed up with the People's National Congress Reform to form the Partnership for National Unity. Jagdeo believes that when the time comes to vote, Amerindians will look at the PP's track record.
So we did extremely well in the Amerindian communities based on a track record. Personally, in the last 2 years or so, I've visited over fifth of their villages. And I can assure you that I listen to people and they talk about the deterioration. They point to progress made at the village level under the PPP.
The other faces behind the political party announced by Schuman are currently unknown. The name of the party, its logos and colors are yet to be decided. While the party's intention is to focus on indigenous issues, Schuman said the party will be an all-inclusive party. Apart from the indigenous party, many other individuals have come forward expressing an interest in forming political parties to contest the general elections in 2020. The common cry is frustration with politics in Guyana, particularly the fractured relationship between the country's two long-standing parties, the PPP and the PNC. Davina Samaru reporting for the newsroom.
The life of former South African President Nelson Mandela made for an evening of reflection on Wednesday as Guyana joined other countries in the world in marking 100 years since he was born. As Neil Marks reports, one of the messages for Guyana was to develop positive leadership that would rise above division to build a more cohesive society.
Perhaps one of Guyana's most recognized efforts in support of Nelson Mandela's fight against apartheid was this rallying anthem from the global superstar Eddie Grant, seen here when he performed at Mandela's 90th birthday concert in England's Hyde Park. Now marking the 100th birth anniversary of Mandela, Foreign Affairs Minister Carl Greenwich recognized that the song, released 30 years ago, took the fight against institutionalized racism in South Africa to the home stretch and the eventual release of Nelson Mandela from prison.
So that became a rallying point, a major theme in the struggle for South Africa, and it marked for many people the last stage in the struggle against racism and apartheid in South Africa.
Greenwich was speaking at the University of Guyana Wednesday evening for a panel discussion on the theme on Mandela's leadership through service. The event was organized by the University of Guyana and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Without doubt, Mandela was more than just a former freedom fighter or a former political activist, or even another president. He is surely a symbol of what we can achieve with dedication to a cause, with the mobilization of moral authority, harnessing humanity, and with a sense of the contribution that man can make to changing events.
The Director of the Multilateral and Global Affairs Department of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Troy Turrington, noted that on his release from prison, Mandela chose reconciliation over retribution, and then he eventually peacefully and willingly relinquished power and placed his services to South Africa and the world.
This man, Nelson Mandela, was a towering figure of our times, who, like Gandhi, like Martin Luther King and others before him, placed footprints in the sands of time that will not easily be effaced.
Professor Ivelaw Griffith, Vice-Chancellor and Principal of the University of Guyana, said that Mandela did not have a platitudinous pretense to rights and peace, but it was something pursued in practical ways, to the point where he was prepared to put his life on the line. Ambassador Cedric Joseph noted that Mandela knew that dismantling the evil system of apartheid was not enough, but that he had to shape a new, free and non-racial society. To follow his example would be to strive for a society that is more united, Ambassador Joseph said.
What does he want us to do? That voice is asking us for service that stands above the divisions, the antagonisms, and the purveyors of doom. It is for service that embraces integrity and positive leadership wherever it is emerging. And it's a service built on reconciliation, magnanimity, togetherness, as he himself had pursued.
It was in recognition of Mandela's contribution to the culture of peace and freedom that the United Nations General Assembly declared July 18th Nelson Mandela International Day. The resolution declaring the day acknowledges Nelson Mandela's contribution to the struggle for democracy internationally and the promotion of a culture of peace throughout the world. For the newsroom, Neil Marks reporting.
The National Tushaus Council will be receiving the land at Sophia, Greater Georgetown as initially promised by President David Granger, as well as a larger tract of land from the Guyana Sugar Corporation, Gaisuku, for the construction of conference rooms and dormitories. Davina Samro reports.
President David Granger on Wednesday met with the newly elected chairman and executive members of the National Tushaus Council at State House, where he made the promise. The Ministry of the Presidency in a statement clarified that the Council will receive the lease for the originally promised land in the Sophia Exhibition Center for the construction of their secretariat. Additionally, the Ministry said the Council will be getting a larger tract of land. The promise was made by the head of state in his address to the indigenous leaders.
Is that the site that was chosen, correctly or incorrectly, is in the middle of a national exhibition center. And all that we ask is that now that there are changes in the sugar industry, whether the NTC would want a bigger campus where it could expand, where it could have dormitories and conference rooms, but where it was being positioned had no room for expansion. So we wanted to create something close to a village. And I've asked VP Alicop to put that proposal. So if you want a little house lot in the middle of Sophia, surrounded by exhibits, that's one of them. If you want a campus with conference rooms, with accommodation, with benabs, with places where you could relax, we will give you what we feel the indigenous people demand and deserve.
Lands at Diamond, Ogle and Houston are being considered for the NTC. President Granger also scolded the leaders for making unfounded accusations against him.
But it's unfair for any individual to use the podium of the NTC and to exploit the benefit of live streaming all over this country to make unfounded accusations.
The former NTC executives had lambasted the president for breaking his promise in giving them the land. They had also accused him of backtracking on his promise to rename St. Cuthbert's Mission to Pakuri. But President Granger said during consultation with residents, they were not in favor of the name change.
There was a consultation, and some residents of the village were not in favor of the name change. So it is not for me to dictate to St. Cuthbert's, it's for the residents to choose. And when the residents choose and inform me, I will abide by the decision of the residents.
President Granger urged the leaders to keep an open door for dialogue and collaboration to take place, especially with regional administrations, the Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs and central government. Davina Samru, Newsroom.
With two natural gas eruptions at a former sugarcane plantation at Diamond at the east bank of Demerara, the government is interested in exploring the possibility of whether the substance has commercial value. This is according to Minister of Natural Resources Raffle Trotman. Here's what he had to say on the matter.
It's a gas. I think our first order of business is to cap it because it was dangerous to the community. But it is not the first time that Diamond has had a gas eruption. So it is something that the geologists are looking at. I know that in the Essequibo Islands as well, there have been some traces of gas found, and there were some pilot studies done. But certainly we may have to take a second look at Diamond or the East Bank to see if in fact there's some larger field there that could produce a gas that is of commercial value.
Okay. Could you say if there are actually concrete steps in place, or this is just an idea at this point?
I wouldn't say that they're concrete steps, but as I said, our first order of business is to make safe and secure that eruption, and then the second would be to quantify what is really happening, and I believe that will be a serious study later in the year.
That was the Minister of Natural Resources, Raphael Trotman, speaking on the possibility of government exploring gas production in Diamond. As youth ambassadors from across the region conclude a forum on population, youth and development, the Guyana Responsible Parenthood Association called for more work to be done in the Caribbean to promote inclusiveness of the LGBTQ community. Bibi Katoon reports.
The Caribbean Forum on Population, Youth and Development seeks to establish a platform to achieve sustainable development goals and other developmental frameworks for the younger generation. Jairo Rodriguez, who attended the event on behalf of the Guyana Responsible Parenthood Association, outlined that there have always been talks on the acceptance of LGBTQ persons, but no progress by governments.
We really need inclusivity, and we really need to do work when it comes to LGBT persons and how we're included in society. As the delegate mentioned, Suriname and Guyana, we are basically speaking about it to our government, but just rhetoric, no action when it comes to government action or work.
The forum gave the youths an opportunity to engage directly with public policy makers to ensure greater attention to youth issues. Earlier this week, Guyana's leading gay rights activist group, the Society Against Sexual Orientation Discrimination SASOD, and the GRPA called for the Teachers' Code of Conduct to be updated to include protection of students who are part of the LGBTQ community. Along this line, Rodriguez emphasized that gay persons should be protected against bullying.
That sexual orientation and gender identity should be included in the Teachers' Code of Conduct to protect LGBT teachers from being bullied by their colleagues and from students from being bullied by their fellow peers and of course teachers. But in all of these contexts, what more can we do? Policy changes, they're happening in Guyana, but sadly so not in the Caribbean, not in the Anglo-Caribbean. Guyana has come a far way when it comes to policy development, conversations, a forum and dialogue on LGBT rights. The only thing that's missing is the actual legislative change.
SASOD and the GRPA raised the issue with the Education Minister Nicolette Henry earlier this week, where they asked the minister to amend the non-discrimination clause of the code. The amendment will expressly prohibit discrimination on the basis of race, sexual orientation, gender, religion, among other things, a statement from SASOD said. Anil Prasad, SASOD homophobia coordinator, explained that it has recorded cases of students being bullied based on their perceived sexualities, particularly effeminate boys. According to CARICOM, Consensus on Population and Development addresses a wide range of population issues.
In this report, West Indies captain Jason Holder and Guyanese trio Devendra Bishu, Shimron Hetmaya and Kimo Paul joined Bangladesh spinner Mehdi Hassan Miraz at a Kitty roundabout to unveil a huge cricket bat under the theme "Watch This." The players took turns to pose with the World Cup trophy, which the West Indies women won for the first time in 2016 in India. Guyana is one of 3 nations that would host matches in the November 9 to 24 tournament. The other host nations are Antigua and Barbuda and St. Lucia. Offering remarks at the event was the West Indies captain, Jason Holder.
It's a great opportunity for us in the Caribbean. Obviously last World T20, the women were victorious in lifting the trophy. I happened to be there in India on the finals day, and it was a wonderful occasion, to see the girls rallying around amongst one another and everybody back home in the Caribbean supporting them. I know we've got an opportunity to come firsthand and see it live in the Caribbean, and I just think it's a wonderful opportunity for everybody else to come out and see the spectacle.
Holder used the opportunity to call on the Caribbean public to show support for the tournament by coming out to the games.
It's an opportunity for everybody to come out and support them. They need as much support as they possibly can get. They've been doing well over the last couple of years, and we've had some outstanding individual performances from the likes of Stephanie Taylor, Deandra Dott and Haley Matthews, just to name a few. So hopefully girls can continue in that vein. I get that they've got some time to prepare now until the start of the tournament, so hopefully they can be ready. And it's important that people in the Caribbean go and support them.
And not surprisingly, Holder is back in the female West Indies team to defend the title on home soil.
Yeah, obviously, I think we've got what it takes. The girls are in tune. I speak to them every now and then, and a lot of them are up for it and upbeat for the occasion. So, all to play for. We've still got a big cricket to dictate being champions, but being defending champions, and I think we're going with an extra edge also.
Meanwhile, Mehdi Hassan Miraz believes Bangladesh females will do well in the tournament after pulling off some memorable performances recently, winning the Asia Cup.
I think this is a good opportunity for everyone, and the fantastic moment for Women's World Cup. So I pray for everyone, so should we play good cricket, and everyone see the World Cup and hopefully enjoy the world.
And what's your message to your Bangladesh women's team to come out and win it?
Yeah, of course, definitely. Last few years we did very well in Bangladesh, and last Asia Cup we got champion. So we are really happy that, and first time we got champion in Bangladesh in women's team. So this is we're happy and we look forward, and I hope one day we'll go to World Cup and we got the champion.
The 10-team tournament features three-time champions Australia, reigning ICC Women's World Cup winners England, India, New Zealand, Pakistan, South Africa, Sri Lanka and defending champions West Indies, plus 2 qualifiers. Guyana is set to host 11 of the 23 matches in the first standalone Women's World T20 tournament. Reporting for Newsroom, I'm Avinash Ramzan. Shimron Hetmeyer's second ODI 100 and good death bowling from Jason Holder gave West Indies a series-leveling 3-run win over Bangladesh on Wednesday. Hetmeyer cracked 125 of 93 balls and Rovman Powell added 44 as West Indies recovered from 103 for 4 to post 271. Despite 50s from Mushfiqur Rahim, Shakib Al Hassan and Tamim Iqbal, Bangladesh still fell short with Holder defending 8 of the final over. The win for West Indies means that they level the series with all to play for in the final match on Saturday in St. Kitts. We spoke to Holder after the game. What he had to say. Yeah, Jason, 8 to defend off the final over. What was the process at the start of the over?
To start the over well, it's important to get into the over, with a few dot balls if possible. And, it worked out for me, I got a wicket in that over which really pushed him back because he was a set batsman, Mushfiqur, and it was really good to see that I held him, and the guys really supported well.
At the halfway stage, you were total control 2-something. Did you have thought that it would have gone this close?
Yeah, I knew the conditions would have gotten tougher to bowl in. We all said at the beginning of the game that on the legs here there's a lot of dew and the ball tends to slide on at night. So we also had that back in my mind. So 270 was the total, and just up to our bowlers to defend it. We didn't really have the best of starts, but as I said, it's really tough. Both bowlers, myself and Azari, were slipping and sliding, and it was tough to grip the ball as well. So it was just about getting through the first power play, which we did eventually, but it's good to see how the spinners came in the middle overs and really pegged back the game for us. So credit must go to Vince Bishop, Stan and stuff, Ashton Nurse, and Chris.
Right, you've talked a lot about Shimron Hetmeyer and his ability to play spin bowling. That was in full display tonight. Your thoughts on that innings?
Excellent innings. It's good to see a young player show such maturity. We would have had a debate quite some time ago, and I was telling him that it's been a while since a Guyanese batter has scored 100 in international cricket. It's good to see Hetty come and step up and do it. I think it says a lot for Guyana cricket, and hopefully he can, be the stepping stone for a lot of other young players to follow.
How important is this win going into St. Kitts, knowing that now you can close off both the Test and the ODI series?
Yeah, it's really important. This win should obviously give us some momentum. We fought really hard to come back in the game and then finish off the game to win it. I think each and every individual in the dressing room are really proud of it. Hopefully this could be the start of really good things to come. We've built towards the World Cup, and it's good to show some fight in this game.
Still in cricket, 100 that dug his team out of a hole has been described by Shimron Hetmeyer as important towards his career development. Made in front of a small crowd that included his parents, the 125 against Bangladesh in the second ODI at Providence handed West Indies a series-leveling win. Here's what Hetmeyer had to say after the knock.
It was very important to me. As I said, I have my mother and my father all the way from me and see this innings here today, and I would just like to say it was dedicated to them. And my girlfriend, she's the next one that always pushes me and tell me when to go, tell me to go on and push on, and so.
Alright, you've got a 50 in the first match, 100 here. What is key to being successful in the game?
Well, I just think playing yourself and take as much as possible when you're out there. It's not easy to get started on, but when you get started, you tend to flow.
Your second one, the 100 for 2018. How important is this one in terms of career development?
I think this one is more important because it is in Guyana, my home country. So I think this one is more important than the first one.
Now across to St. Kitts now for the final match. How confident are you of West Indies winning the series?
I'm very confident. The guys had a wonderful display of step bowling tonight, and let's just hope that in the next game it doesn't come down this close.
Cricket West Indies Regional Under-19 tournament commences on July 30 in St. Kitts and Nevis, with Guyana entering as defending champions of both the 3-day and 50 over. While confidence is high of a title repeat, the head coach Julian Moore wants his batsmen to to apply themselves better.
The 14-member national 19 squad has been in camp since Monday ahead of the regional tournament, which they enter serious title favourites. They are four-time fifth-over champions, and last year, under the captaincy of Ronaldo Ali Mohammed, they did the Dublin St. Kitts and Nevis. Despite 8 players returning from that successful squad, 3 of which are West Indies under 19 players, the head coach is not head over heels about returning with a trophy. It's of the contention that the batsmen need to apply themselves better. In a 3-day practice match against the Guyana Cricket Board Academy players at Everest, the 19s were bundled out for 52, with the top scorer being 18 by Sachin Singh. Rain ravaged remaining days of that match.
The batting was a sore point. They had a lot of games where, were very low scoring. I think certain players that we, looked to see things from really missed out. I think it came down to the application. And I think that's something that we've stressed to them, that we need to see that application in the middle, especially the farm. And we've been trying our best to work on that over the past couple of days and even few weeks.
Moore, who's a level 3 coach, has 3 titles with under 15 and 1 with under 19, and he explained he's not burdened by the pressure to perform and wants the players to feel the same.
Pressure with expectations. I think having a team with 8 players back, I think a lot will be expected of you. As you said, it's a tournament that Guyana has dominated. So obviously, everybody really, they're planning to come and dethrone you. In the same light, I think the guys are pretty much prepared for it. It's something I think that they're relishing, the chance to play for Guyana and the chance to not only do well for themselves, but to really defend both of our crowns. So, I don't think it's pressure in that regard, but I think it's going to be a competitive tournament for us.
With the likes of Bhaskar Yadram, a West Indies under 19 and first-class player, Joshua Prasad and Ashmid Ned, fellow youth Windies players, and more so Kumar Torrington and Sachin Singh, West Indies under 16 players, the team is loaded with big guns. But for the Torchi Borbishan, the players must ward against being overconfident.
I think it's about really tapping into the mindset. You would have played for West Indies last year, but there's still a lot of things to be gained down the road. Ned has another year at the under 19, and I'm sure Joshua Prasad and Bhaskar Yadram would like to go on and probably make an A team. So it's just about letting them know the opportunities that are there for them. And I think once they can really understand how important this year is, I think they'll be fine.
The national 19 squad reads Bhaskar Yadram captain, Kevin Sinclair, Alex Algu, Sachin Singh, Adrian Hines, Junior Sinclair, Kevlon Anderson, Javed Kareem, Yedestur Prasad, Kevlon Umar, Joshua Prasad, Ashman Ned, Kumar Torrington, and Joshua Jones. The team will be managed by Andy Ramnarain. For the newsroom, Akeem Green.
And finally in sport this evening, some table tennis news. The Guyana Table Tennis Association is hosting a 4-day International Table Tennis Federation umpire course with the aim of developing its local capacity. Akeem Green reports.
The course commenced on Wednesday at the Cliff Anderson Sports Hall under auspices of Colombia's Johanna Ramirez, who is the Latin American Rules and Umpires Director. Ramirez would have just completed organizing the table tennis aspect of the Central American and Caribbean Games in her homeland. According to the expert, she will be instilling elementaries to the aspiring umpires who have thus far showcased a deep desire to learn.
This is a basic umpires course, so we are teaching about all the regulations and the rules about table tennis. A group that already has been umpiring in a different tournament, national tournament here in Guyana, so they are more prepared. The other group, they are new, they want to learn, they have the opportunity to become an umpire, and I think they are ready to learn and to become an umpire.
Secretary GTTA Lyndon Johnson explained that this is part of their endeavors to develop a sport. The course is undertaken by 22 participants, of which 4 are from Linden, 1 from Region 7, 1 from Essequibo, and the others from Georgetown.
This level 1 umpiring coaching course, along the candidates pass their exams that they're going to do Friday. They're going to get an opportunity for the next exam, so the international. International means that long to pass the international, you could umpire out of Guyana. But the basic umpiring course that they're doing presently now, they enable you to be an umpire around the Caribbean. But the one that they're going to do Saturday, we're going to help you to move on to more far countries out of the Caribbean.
Lyndon Shavin Green, a level 1 coach, expects the teaching to allow him to further elevate his career.
Well, I'm trying to grasp as much as possible because I would have done the basic umpires before, and this is the opportunity to do the international course, whereby it exposes you to international tournaments around the world, being able to travel and experience the lovely sport of table tennis.
This will be the first time in Guyana's history that international umpires is offered and hosted in Guyana. It gives the opportunity to create an umpiring structure and develop pathway and creating incentives for umpires to have a career to improve the level of officiating and quality and